Who can I run to? Where is it staying? Hold on, family. When I need love, as I stand here. Good morning. Good afternoon, people. Good evening, family. Welcome, my beautiful family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the mental house with me, your host, Khadija. Did y'all miss me, baby? Well, I'm back. Ah, it's been a little bit. And fortunately for me, I haven't been AWOL because of anything negative. Actually, it's been all positive. Uh, and I love to celebrate the good moments in life because a lot of people celebrate are always complaining about the bad things. And I think it's really important that we acknowledge when things are going good in our lives. Okay. Now, what I wanted to talk about though is because it's the holiday season, and I've been getting a few emails telling, and not just emails, talking with people who are in healing and them expressing and sharing with me how the holidays become such a difficult time. And as we all know, those of us who are dealing with high conflict, emotionally disturbed people, or just plain bullies, um, the more we start getting healthy, we begin to realize that just being around these people sometimes sets off an emotional charge that really is not good. Either we're fighting at the gatherings, or after we leave the gatherings, we see a cousin or aunt or a mom or uncle or a brother, a sister that we have perpetually um, just been um, pretty much exuding um, anxiety when we get around them or when they come around. Maybe there's an old uncle that was sexually molested someone, or an old aunt who is sexually molested. Um, the point I'm trying to make is sometimes when you get around the holiday time, it's a lot of high anxiety. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. A lot of people think, especially in our culture, um, you got to deal with your family, and you have to honor honor what they represent and blah blah blah. Let me tell you something. And this is very very important. If you being around your mother or your father means you are going to be subjected to be put down, subjected to have emotional anxiety, to have heart palpitations and just punches in the gut. That's literally what they feel like when you're around these people, heart beating fast and going. That is your body's symbol. That is your body's communication with you. That's saying, I don't want to be bothered with this shit. This shit doesn't feel good. And what has happened, especially in the black community, we have gotten used to those feelings and we are categorizing them as normal. But it is those feelings that allow a lot of us to snap. A lot of us, and this is just not for black folks. Um, this is just people in general. But I'm speaking specifically to black people because there's a cultural thing that we have that is just sometimes so freaking irrational um, that, in my opinion, it makes no sense. Like you're supposed to be around these people no matter what and at any cost, and that's not necessarily the truth. Uh, there may have been people that gotten away from me for whatever reason, and if they got away from me because it made their lives more sane and rational, then more power to them. There have people that I got away from that made my life more sane and rational, more power to me. Now, we may not understand it. That might be um, part of the dynamic that's going on. But you have an obligation to protect your mental health. to protect your dome, to protect your feelings. And what's wrong with a lot of us is we continue to perpetuate the same behaviors over and over and over again. And we play it like a mantra, like it's a birthright to be abused. And so I'm going to tie all this in, y'all. Y'all know how it goes. Once you start dealing with that Willie Lynch paper, and once you understand that you have been programmed to be perpetually miserable, then, you know, I have a hard time not saying, and I know a lot of people going to be mad about this. I have a very hard time dealing with if I encounter any person of my hue that's not emotionally damaged severely. Okay. So I want to just deal with that right here. So if I can say that about my whole clan that I walk around, I see every day, let alone the larger community at large, because we all know that's a sickness going on, and we don't even want to deal with that. They the daddy sickness, okay? Um, but what has happened to me is I want to keep saying that we have normalized crazy behavior. So when I look at this book, and I pull out this DSM, and I start looking at personality disorders, right? And one of the main things um, that happens, when I'm reading this and I'm looking at, criterias, because like I always said, most of this stuff runs comorbid. But when I start reading about certain personality disorders, and like you have to have 5 of the 9, or in some like that's what it is for borderline. They're saying if this characteristic, and they'll give you a bunch of little I guess what do you call them, edicts that says if a person is following these 5 of these 9 traits, then maybe it's possible that this person could be a borderline or narcissistic or whatever. But as I begin to look at some of these personalities, I'm not talking about just mental right now. I'm just talking about emotional and personal issues, because we have a characterological problem as a group nobody wants to address. But when we start talking about paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, narcissistic, avoidant personality, dependent personalities, obsessive compulsive personality change due to medical condition, we're gonna let that go. But when we start talking about histrionics, I see this so much in the black community, dude. Oh my God. Histrionic personality is a pattern of excessive emotionality and attention seeking. Listen to me real good. Histrionic personality disorder is a pattern of excessive emotionality and attention seeking. Now, damn it, if we're not the most attention seeking people I've ever seen, because been so, we have such a lack of attention. A lot of us have parents who had to work 2 and 3 shifts, so we're stuck with a babysitter or in a daycare, or in a situation where we're not giving proper attention from our parents, and all this stuff is starting off from childhood. These personalities that are being created, um, and it's real crazy, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and they was just I was listening to him go on and on and on about how somebody used them for sex. Okay, this guy, I guess she was seeing, he, she was saying how he used her for sex, and I was just listening how she wasn't taking any responsibility, because now never once did she say he raped me. Okay, she kept saying, yeah, he just used me for sex, and I'm just tired of him people using me for sex and blah 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 blah, and so I tried to figure out what would make her think nobody can use you for sex unless you allow yourself to be used for sex. You just said you weren't raped. So uh, what the question becomes for me, and what I had to state to the individual was, you should, I don't understand. I mean, you know, how, did you allow yourself to be used for rape? Because we have to take responsibility for what we allow ourselves to do, the way we allow ourselves to be treated, the way we treat other people. Those are personal choices. When somebody does something extremely egregious to us, like every time we pick them up, they always forgot their time card, or they always forgot their bank card or cash card. This is not by accident, it's by design. And you have to have enough love for yourself to say, oh, bitch, I won't pick you up no more because you on some bullshit. Excuse my language. But we have to be just as real with ourselves. And so what I had to make sure I said was, you know, if you're using sex to try to get an emotional commitment from somebody, then you are allowing yourself to be used because you're wanting something out of this too. You want emotional connection from this person, and you're using sex to get it. Now, how many of us have done that? How many of us have bear witness to that? How many of us have participated in that? No, 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 no. You want this person and you feel like having sex with this person will draw them and keep them closer. It may, but it may not. And it may end up in just a situation where you feel like you're just being used for sex. Guess what? You got to deal with it. Deal with it. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. Um, so listen, um, I want to first, you know, this is just the first of a lot of stuff I've been dealing with the last week, talking to subs and just meeting people and getting real serious about this mental health thing. Um, Having community meetings and community safe spaces where people can express that's very important to me. And I want to continue to do that for 2018 coming up. Uh, I've also um, wanted to make women. Let me just say this right here, and I'm gonna close it. I just really wanted to make this video first and foremost because uh, there's a couple other subjects I want to talk about later, and I don't want to mesh all of them together because this will get longer and longer. But again, I want to encourage everybody that is having a hard time this holiday season. Know that I love you. Know that I wish you well. I wish you peace, and make sure that you do what's best for you. And sometimes that might just be staying home. Sometimes that might be just go get you a little pizza and sit down and do you. And not dwell on the anxiety and the feelings of discomfort that you experience when you're around these people. Because a lot of times when you're dealing with people that are narcissistic or really emotionally imbalanced, you're not really dealing with human beings. You're dealing with people who are going around perpetuating and showing up and not pretty much showing up fake news in it, disguise themselves as a human being. But the empathy, the love, the understanding is nowhere to be in sight. And all the attributes that you need to be human are missing. So don't worry yourself. Don't even do it to yourself. Don't even do it. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna go and hopefully we'll be back a little later right here in the mental house. Hey y'all, I'm glad to be back. I missed you. We'll talk later, okay? Bye bye. And whatever side of the diaspora that you're on, keep on sending me those emails. They are welcome at the mental house at wi.rr.com or artist, the number four, freedom. That's artist, ARTISTS, for freedom at gmail.com. Okay? Bye, family.